Tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell y'all. What did I tell y'all about Bill Lazor? 20 points or nothing, right? Slightly better. Not the savior. Man, what's up, y'all? It's been a while. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First, the Jalen Ramsey, AJ Green fight. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on the Jags loss, Titans loss, and we're gonna start getting into some I guess draft scenarios because this season is over, bro. Figured this season was over already. But first, let me talk about the AJ Green Jalen Ramsey fight. So initially last week I was gonna come out with a response video, but I didn't want to do a video until I had all of the facts. So as you guys know, I have my sources, people that actually talk to these players and got word on what exactly went down. So, in Jalen Ramsey's defense, he said nothing about his family. It wasn't anything like that. I was able to confirm that. From what I did hear, though, he was calling AJ a B, basically, after every single play. And AJ just couldn't take it anymore, snapped. Which, I mean, I could kind of understand that. If somebody is just straight calling you a B after every play, I would probably get mad too. But obviously, AJ has never really acted like that. He's never had a hot head or showed any of that before, so it kind of caught us off guard. But get caught up in the moment, things happen. It's human nature. To me, you have to play with a certain level of respect, and I understand that that's Jalen Ramsey's kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you got to know if you calling somebody, especially a male, the B word repeatedly. I mean, I don't think anybody can really take that. That's almost fighting words. So yeah, that happened. Told y'all I wasn't surprised that the Jags was gonna beat us. I pretty much figured that was gonna happen. Kudos to them though. They're having a good year. They're doing their thing. The one thing from the whole AJ Jalen thing that I didn't get though is that AJ definitely would have beat dude for a touchdown if our quarterback wasn't Andy Dalton. Not trying to start an Andy Dalton bash, but he clearly could have had like a 50-yard touchdown on Jalen Ramsey if Andy Dalton would have just thrown the pass correctly, because he clearly beat him. But that's just a normal Andy Dalton thing, and that's not even the first time he's done that to AJ or anybody else. But moving on. Now we sit at 3-6, coming off our recent loss against the Titans. This just is a bad season, bro. It's just a bad season, and I kind of felt like just from the way that things kind of went this season after Pittsburgh, it was just really over. And when you look at it, it's like no matter what the Bengals do, they just can't seem to put things together. And it really comes down to coaching, it comes down to leadership, and it comes down to, everybody in the building. I don't fault the players. I think that our players are playing hard. They're doing what they can, but it's just not enough. And I keep, trying to say the Bengals front office, I think it's like the front office / coaching staff, need to be real with themselves. Number one, you still do not have a viable option across from AJ Green. Whether you want to believe it or not, you don't have one. And you haven't had one since Marvin Jones has left. And there's been all of these excuses, but we really don't have a viable option outside of AJ Green. And teams just lock onto that. It's easy to shut our offense down because our offense runs through one person. People can talk about Joe Mixon this and Joe Mixon that. Our offense runs through AJ Green. So if I'm a team, I'm going to double team AJ Green and I'm going to make the rest of the team beat us. And that's what they're doing. And I mean, it works. It does it. It's not really hard to really stop this offense because Tyler Eifert's gone. John Ross can't get on the field. Hasn't really done much this year anyway. Brandon LaFell's a solid receiver, but he's not going to cause you to step away from AJ Green. So The offense is struggling. Um, y'all already know how I feel about Andy, man. I'm not trying to hate on dude, but I'm seeing some crazy excuses be made for some of this play that we're seeing, and this is my thing. Um, you know, it's one thing for it to be, a quarterback of like Phillip Rivers caliber, but like some of our fans talk about this guy like he's Phillip Rivers, bro, or like there aren't quarterbacks that have been in worse situations with offensive lines that can't block like Russell Wilson, like Phillip Rivers, or without weapons. But the difference is those guys have kind of made their lack of weapons a lot better. Like honestly, like when you look at the Seahawks, they truly don't have. And I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers that's a Seahawks fan. He was like, "You guys have better weapons than us," and I was like, "In some facets, but Russell Wilson just does more with less. Like Doug Baldwin is a pretty good receiver, but he's by no means an AJ Green. You look at Phillip Rivers, a guy like Keenan Allen will go down and Desmond Aruchu or whatever is hitting you for a touchdown and you don't even know it. So I don't know. I'm not going I'm not gonna be the Andy Dalton hater or whatever, but I'm just a realist, bro. I call it like I said. I just don't think Andy Dalton is the quarterback that's gonna get it done here. Not saying he can't go anywhere else, but he's just the type of quarterback in my eyes that you have to put weapons around, and he's only gonna be as good as his supporting cast. His supporting cast isn't really good. He's not really good. Like so, to me, going forward, obviously there needs to be a head coaching change. Um, I don't know. I know it's like some of you guys said that I should talk about the draft, and I'm kind of torn because there's obviously some needs on the offensive line, which I said that we should have addressed last draft, but it is what it is. But you have a nice offensive lineman draft coming out, but then you also have some good quarterbacks. I mean, it's still very early in the process, but I don't really see how you could pass on a guy like Lamar Jackson. That's just my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think. That's just my thoughts. But if you have a guy like a Lamar Jackson sitting there, he adds another dynamic to this offense that also helps your offensive line when you have a scrambling quarterback. Now that doesn't mean to say that your offensive line per se is better just because of him, but it gives you more options. Look at Deshaun Watson. The Texans' offensive line was horrible this year, but he got in there. He made some plays. He's got the arm that we like to see. He's got the legs. He just adds a totally different dynamic to this offense, which would help AJ Green because teams aren't only worried about AJ Green beating them deep or doubling him. You also have to keep the spy on Lamar Jackson, which I think is a viable option. Also, is a guy that you can bring in to put some pressure on Andy to play a lot better. You also have an out of Andy Dalton's contract, and this is my thing. You've got a guy in Andy Dalton that you're paying $100 million. $100 million. That's money that you could be spending on fixing your offensive line. Not saying that you get rid of Andy Dalton. I'm just calling things how I would really do it. I just don't see him being that guy that's going to get us to being that Super Bowl contender, that playoff team. I don't see him doing that, and I don't see Marvin Lewis being the coach. So I think those two changes need to happen. Will it happen? We don't know, man. I'm pretty sure Marvin is out of here. I'm speaking it into existence that Marvin is out of here. Andy Dalton is a toss-up. It really depends on who comes in as I think the new coach. But I also think that Mike Brown is a quarterback guy. So if he has a new weapon like that up there and he brings in a new head coach, I don't think that new head coach is going to have as much influence in that locker room. And I think if Mike Brown wants Lamar Jackson, Mike Brown's going to get Lamar Jackson. But man, 3-6, not really surprised. We have some games coming up here. Pretty much almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. We're sitting right now at the 11th spot. I think that we need to lose some more games. I'm not saying to tank, but honestly, winning games isn't really gonna help us, bro. Like I honestly, like we really need, that top 5 to top 10 pick. A top 5 pick is totally different from a top 10 or top 15 pick. So that's what I'm hoping. My bad. I'm a little tired at the moment. My bad, y'all. But um, yeah. Hopefully we get things together. Let me know what you guys think about the draft. Do you guys think we should take an offensive lineman? You think we should take a quarterback? What do you think? Um, and there's a lot of people out there. I will say this: I usually don't share much from my source. There's a lot of people saying that they think that AJ might be frustrated with the franchise. I'm hearing that that's not the case. AJ Green is pretty much still vested with this team. It's more so our fans is being paranoid. So for anybody watching this, just know that AJ is definitely here to stay. So at least for now, unless they do something crazy after this. But yeah, man, you guys make sure you hit me in the comments. This is gonna be a tough year. I think hopefully we can go like 5-11, do 5-11. That way we kind of get rid of Marvin. I don't want to go 7-9, 8, or I don't even want a chance of Marvin coming back. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.